Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Arsenal, and as usual, if you haven't done so yet before we do anything else, please get down there at the corner down there and smash that like and subscribe button. Thanks to you folks, we now have more than 3 dozen subscribers, and it's greatly appreciated. My sponsors appreciate it, and I will do my best, as we do every Saturday morning, to keep you informed with what's going on in the world of sports. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. We had a lot going on. Of course, the last game of the pardon me, first week of NFL games is out of the way. It was played last night. I was not impressed with Aaron Rodgers or the Jets. I thought he looked like what he is, a slow old man trying to come back from an Achilles. Anyway, we'll talk about that. I've got some unfinished business here too. I'll apologize for that. But let's initially, let's do this and then move on from there. Time Out Overtime, as you know, is sponsored in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet and M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. You know, if it's time for a new to you vehicle, let the sales pros at Beck's help you choose the right vehicle. New or pre-owned, Beck's has the top selection in the tri-state area with over 200 vehicles in stock. Stop by and see for yourself, and when you're ready, ask for Russ McMorty, Chris Hodis, Danny Smith, Adam Schaefer, Blake Bryant, Cameron Midseal, Bob Flint, or Peyton Lucas. And when it comes time to service that new to you vehicle, the service pros at Beck's can fix it. Any make, any model, foreign or domestic, Beck's can fix it. And if you have a bit of a crunch or fender bender, Beck's Body Shop can put it back together, looking just as good as new. So for all your automotive needs, look no further than Frank Beck Chevrolet at M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville at 517-849-2886 or on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Come and experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. And in just a few minutes, I will be giving you all the details as the big event at Frank Beck Chevrolet this Saturday, the 14th, as they will be celebrating their 9th annual Salute to First Responders. Fun-filled day for everybody. I'll be filling you in with all the details here momentarily, so stand by for that. First, I have an apology I want to make. I was going to do this Saturday, but I was so upset with the Michigan game that I completely forgot about it. But there was a bookies.com. I did a study on NFL ticket prices and which of the 32 NFL teams is going to cost you more to attend than any other. And lo and behold, it's the Lions. Now, anyway, this bookies.com analyzed what it would cost for a family of 4 to attend an NFL game at every stadium. At every stadium for this 2024 season. The cost includes 4 tickets, parking, 4 hot dogs, 2 beers. I don't know if that's 1 for mom and 1 for pop, or 2 for pop and none for mom. Anyway, and 2 pops for the kids. Anyway, according to this survey, Detroit Lions games projected as the most expensive in the entire league. A family of 4 should expect to pay $1,611.96, according to the study. The NFL average is $808.20, which is more than a 20% jump from last year. Bookies said ticket prices were calculated by averaging the lowest available prices for all home games throughout the 2024 season as of August 31st. The study estimates 4 lion tickets, just the 4 tickets alone would cost you $1,533.21. Parking would be another $27.25. The beers would cost you $14.50. The 2 pops, that's another $12. And the hot dogs would cost you $25 for 2 hot dogs. 2 hot dogs, $25. That's what it says here. You could probably, I know food prices have gone up dramatically, but you could probably at least get several pounds of hot dogs for that. $25 for 2 hot dogs, huh? $12.50 a piece. How about that? $12.50 a piece for $12.50 for a hot dog at Ford Field. Anyway, that's your study. And as I said, it was courtesy of bookies.com. And I was going to, pardon me, I was going to give this to you at the end of the show Saturday. And I simply forgot. And I apologize for that. As I said, I was rather upset from the Michigan game. And I was in a bad mood. Didn't feel a whole lot like talking or even doing the show, but we did it. Anyway, I got Michigan State out of the way first. Michigan, we don't have to hash over what happened. We know what happened Saturday. So they fell from number 9 overall down to number 16. This Saturday, they are like 3 touchdown favorites against Arkansas State. I don't know what to tell you. I don't bet, but if I were you, I'd take those points. Take Arkansas State. Meanwhile, kudos to the Michigan State Spartans. They went on the road to Maryland and won an exciting game that went down right to the last second. Kicked a field goal to win it. Their quarterback played very well. Their rookie wide receiver was the Big Ten Player of the Week. So kudos to the Spartans. I'm happy for Jonathan Smith. Seems like a very nice guy, and I'm almost sorry that he's not coaching in Ann Arbor right now. But who the Spartans play? They play Prairie View. They play Prairie View on Saturday, and they are favored like 40.5 points. I know that sounds inconceivable, but that's the line right now. Michigan State. If you've been on Prairie View Saturday against Michigan State, you'd be getting 40.5 points. That's almost 6 touchdowns. Okay, seems like a lot, but as I said, we don't. Again, I don't bet, but if I were betting, I'd take those points. I don't. Spartans look good Saturday, but I don't know much about Prairie View. I don't think they're much more than a Division II school, right? They're Division I, I suppose, but not much better. Anyway, so there you are in Michigan at Michigan State. Before we get into the Tigers, I think we'll do the Lions first today, before the Tigers. Anyway, I want to remind you of this special event going on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 14th, at Frank Beck Chevrolet here on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. I hope you've got it on your calendar or you put it in your phone, clear the decks, don't have anything planned for Saturday, at least not earlier in the day anyway, because between 10 and 2 on Saturday, Frank Beck's Chevrolet will be celebrating their 9th annual salute to first responders. And this year, there will be a special tribute to the Hillsdale County Sheriff's Department. So bring the kids, let them get up close to emergency vehicles, meet police and firefighters, play games, enjoy a free lunch, sign up for a lot of really great prizes. And as we all celebrate our area's first responders. Plus, there will be a poker run as well. Again, that's this Saturday, the 14th, from 10 to 2 at Frank Beck Chevrolet, on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. I think you get more info on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Stop by, especially Saturday. We hope to see you out there and experience the Frank Beck difference. Andy and I will be doing the timeout show, which is a couple of hours later this Saturday because of the special event. We'll be out there from 11 to noon, as we were last year. We had a lot of fun out there, and you will too. You bring the kids, bring the whole family. I can promise you a fun-filled day for everybody. The weather looks great. Just a good time for everybody, for a good cause too. So again, clear the decks. If you have something planned, put it off for later in the day. But love to see you out there. Like I said, Andy and I will be broadcasting from 11 to noon. We expect all you loyal listeners who are there to stop by and say hi, and look forward to seeing everybody out there. Saturday from 10 to noon at Frank Beck Chevrolet. Thank you. Be there. See you. Okay. Lions Sunday night. Were you concerned at all when they were down by 3 points with just 4 or 5 minutes left and the Rams had the ball? I think they managed the clock very well. Kudos to Jake Bates. Mr. Cool came in. And, I know it was a short pooch kick, but still he had to make this kick in order for the Lions to get it to overtime, and he did. So he made his 2 field goals, and he made a couple of extra points. No problem. No. Kudos to Jake Bates. A couple other players who I think stood out. David Montgomery, Marcus Davenport, who I said Saturday was going to be watching. He had 6 pressures, and I was very pleased and excited to see him play the way he did. Dan Campbell on his show this morning with the ticket had a lot of good things to say about him. J-Mo, I made him one of the players of the game. Jameson Williams, 121 yards in receptions. He was a difference maker. How about Alex Anzalone, too? And that guy was flying around. He was all over the place. He is definitely I know Hutch is good, but I think Anzalone right now, I'd say he's probably your best defensive player. He's a quarterback of that defense. Jake Bates, as I said, and Kirby Joseph, who had a key interception in the end zone at the end of the first half. You think he was thinking that was revenge on Stafford, who after the game last year, the playoff game, got in his face, accused him of being a dirty player. Anyway, so the Lions play the Buccaneers this Sunday, Ford Field, in a 1 o'clock game, by the way. And how about that? They're actually playing a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. That started out, the Lions started out, the Lions favored by 6.5. That's gone up to 7 now. So there's a lot of money coming in on the Lions. And I know the passing game, other than Jameson Williams, didn't look all that good, but they may have been a little rusty. Chris Collinsworth kept saying that the Rams were taking away the center of the field on him, which is where he likes to pass. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but I can guarantee you Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta will be a lot more involved this Sunday. But Laporta did have a key reception on that final drive in regulation. And then, of course, you had the boneheaded Ram defensive back on that play who was flagged for a helmet-to-helmet hit. That cost him an extra 15 yards to put the Lions in field goal range. But yeah, the Lions' last 2 drives, I thought, were a thing of beauty. And to see them run the ball like they did in overtime, you're sitting there thinking, where was this earlier in the game? Oh. I think they just wore down the Rams' defense, and they showed why it's the best offensive line in football, and it's a lot better. With Kevin Zeitler was a tremendous upgrade over Jonah Jackson. I didn't hear Jackson's name much at all Sunday night. Marcus Davenport, I think Hutch had 11 pressures. He had a sack. I think Levi Onwuzurike played well. I believe he had a sack. Stafford was pretty well beaten up by the end of that game. He took a lot of hits. And if it had been any other quarterback other than Stafford, they could have had 6 or 7 sacks. He was just getting rid of the ball so quickly. Yeah, I think Cooper Kupp had 114 yards in receptions, but the average reception for him, I don't think was more than 10 yards. They were all relatively short passes, except the one that he made a great catch on the sidelines. But that's a highlight catch. I didn't when I initially saw that, I didn't think that's a catch. But then when they said that was good, I thought maybe it was an optical illusion or something. Cooper Kupp is a very good player. Look, the Rams are a good team, and they will make the playoffs. They could very well come back again here for the playoffs in January. In fact, Peter Schrager of the NFL Network thinks these two teams could be facing off in the NFC Championship game. However, the way the 49ers looked last night, they looked awfully good on both sides of the ball. Now, granted, they were playing against the Jets. Going to be a long season for the Jets. I think I told Andy a couple of weeks ago, Robert Saleh, I think, is already on the hot seat. He could be, along with a couple of other coaches, he could very well be on the hot seat there, maybe looking over shoulder. His New York counterpart, Brian Daboll, could be another one. Daboll, who was just a couple of years ago, was voted the coach of the year. He may have lost a lot of weight and looks a lot better than he did, but boy, that was ugly. Yeah, Sam Darnold carved them up. Sam Darnold. It's going to be a long football season in New York, in the Big Apple. Another coach who I think may be on the hot seat, Kevin Stefanski with Cleveland. Yeah. Browns look bad. Watson looked bad. I thought I picked the Browns to win. I thought that the way they played toward the end of last year, and as good as their defense was under the guidance of their coordinator Jim Schwartz, I thought they were going to have a shot to win the AFC North this year. But my gosh, and Dak Prescott, just before the game, it was announced his new contract, which made him the highest paid player in the NFL. Leave it to Jerry Jones to steal the headlines and feed his ego. I don't think, is Dak Prescott, is he the best quarterback in the league? I don't think so. Anyway, anybody that saw the Bears Titans game, the Bears won in spite of the fact that they only had 149 yards in total offense. Caleb Williams looked bad. I mean, about as bad as you can look. The Bears scored a special teams touchdown when they blocked a punt and ran it in for a touchdown. They had a pick six on defense. Will Levis was going down, did not want to get sacked, and simply threw the ball up in the air, didn't even look at who he was throwing to. They're picked off and taken the other way for a touchdown. Will Levis, I'm sorry. Now we know why he was at the draft a couple of years ago on day 2, still waiting for somebody to take him. Anyway, Lions will get back to work tomorrow. I guess the really good news coming in Valley Park now is Dan Campbell confirmed on a show this morning that DJ Reader will definitely be starting and playing on Sunday, and that's good news if you're a Lion fan. I want to see how much of a difference he makes, but that defensive line now with Reader and McNeil in the middle and Hutch and Davenport on the outside, you really have got to have a good feeling about that. And I think Terrion Arnold, who was called for a couple of pass interference calls Sunday, I think he'll get better with every game. He's going to be good. He's playing the hardest position in football to play as the quarterback, because you're out there most of the time on an island, one-on-one with your opponent's best receiver. He'll probably have to cover Mike Evans on Sunday. The week after that, they'll be out in Arizona. He'll be looking at the Marvin Harrison Jr. the week after that on Monday Night Football. Lions are playing the Seahawks. So he'll probably be going up against DJ Metcalf. I mean, it never ends. It's not easy to win in the NFL. Every game is hard. There are no easy games. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care who you are playing. Every game is difficult in the National Football League. It just is. All right. I might be taking up too much time on this, but before we get to the Tigers, just a good word, short, brief word for Tim Lindley at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale. For all your tech needs, get in there and see Tim. 37 Waldron Street, that's a couple hundred feet west of Howell. Any tech needs at all. Computers, new or used. Maybe the one you have now needs a little work done on. Take it in there. Tim will fix it up, make it look like new or work like new. Large screen HD smart TVs. Setup, mounting, setup, programming, anything. Maybe you're changing internet providers, and he'll set that up for you. Printers, new or used, anything, you name it. Get in there and see him. 517 for any tech needs, 517-610-5372. Or again, get in there and see Tim at 37 Waldron Street in downtown Hillsdale, just west of Howell. Get in there and see him. When you do, tell him me and Mickey sent you, will you? Thank you. Quickly, the Tigers, as we speak, are 3 games, along with the Red Sox and the Mariners. They have identical records of 73 and 71, and they are 3 games behind the Twins right now. Pardon me. I think it's pretty simple. The task at hand for the Tigers right now is to sweep the Rockies. Probably the worst team in the National League. Maybe the second worst team in all of baseball behind the White Sox. Sweep the Rockies. You don't have any chance at all of pulling this thing off. Win the next 3 games. That would make them what? 76 and 71 with 15 left. I think you'd still have to go. I think you'd still have to go 10 and 5 in those last 15 just to have a shot. You see, here's the problem, folks. The Twins have because of the expanded playoff format now. As you remember, the wild card round used to just be 1 game. You were 1 and done. Now it's a best of 3. Because of that, there is no game 163 anymore. So now they have tiebreakers formulas. And the first one is if 2 teams are both tied, it's what happened when these 2 teams played head-to-head. The Twins won 7 of the 13 games they played with the Tigers this year. So if they were to finish with identical records, let's say of 85 and 77 after the final day of the season, which I think is what, the 27th? I haven't looked. But hang on just a second here. I'm almost done. Another one bites the dust. Yeah, if the Twins finish 85 and 77, the Tigers would have to finish 1 game better. In other words, they'd have to be 85 and 77. It means the Tigers would have to be 86 and 76. They'd have to be 1 game better. However, if there are more than 2 teams involved, let's say The Tigers and the Red Sox and the Twins all finished with identical records. There's a different tie-breaking formula. I was looking at this thing today, and it is so darn complicated. I wouldn't attempt to explain it to you. Okay, it's I looked at this thing and I said, this formula, if three or even four teams are tied for the final wild card spot, I mean, you got to be kidding me. This is something a physicist must have come up with. I read this thing over and over several times. I couldn't. Don't ask me to attempt to explain the formula as to which team would go or get the nod. But to me, it's utterly ridiculous. I can't. You can't tell me the way the schedule is now, you couldn't fit a game in on Monday. Play one more game on Monday. We're just talking about one game here. Nope, they don't want to do that. No. But yeah, it's one thing to say, okay, the team with the most wins head-to-head that year would go. Like I said, Twins have won the season series 7-6. That's why they play an odd number of games. That's why they don't play 14 or 12 games. They play 13. So there's no possible way each team could finish with the same amount of wins. That's why they play the odd number of games now. But if this involves 3 or 4 teams, it's kind of ridiculous. As for Tarik Skubal, he will pitch again on Thursday afternoon. He will go for his 17th win. He'll have 3 starts remaining after that. He still has a shot at 20. Who was the last Tiger pitcher to win 20 or more games? Well, who do you think? Good old JV back in 2011 when he won 24. He also won the Cy Young that year, which we think, look, Tarik Skubal would have to have a complete collapse these last few starts not to win the Cy Young this year. Anyway, the task at hand right now is go out there and sweep the Rockies. They cannot afford to lose any one of these 3 games to the Rockies. They just can't. Hey, it's still a long shot, okay? But look, this is the first September in 8 years now, since 2016, that they are playing significant games in September. And I don't know. This is nuts. What's happened? The Tigers were sellers at the trade deadline. In spite of that, they're still in a playoff race. Since July 1st, the Tigers, I believe, are 35 and 25 since July 1st. And they are tied with the Astros for the best record in baseball since July the 1st. And like I said, this is nuts. The fact that they were a concession team at the trade deadline and were sellers, traded one of their starting pitchers and left them with 2 starters. Really only one legitimate starter. And kudos, by the way, too, while I'm at it, to Ty Madden, he was having a really bad season at Toledo. They called him up anyway, and he's pitching well. He pitched, 4 or 5 shutout innings at Oakland, I believe, the other day. So what's up with that? Is it the Chris Vetter effect? I know Chris Vetter has worked some minor miracles with that team, but possible Ty Madden could be in the rotation next year. I don't know. Jackson Joe, by the way, if you haven't heard, got promoted from Erie to Toledo. While at Erie, he had a 1.95 ERA. So that's good to see. If somehow the Tigers, and again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's a long shot. They're making the playoffs. If somehow they would manage to pull this off, Job would not be eligible for the playoffs, even if they were to call him up now. And they're not going to do that anyway. So, will he be in the starting rotation next year? Possibly. I don't think he will be. I think he'll start the season next year at Toledo, and then they'll bring him up. Well, they only need 1 starter anyway, right? Tarik Skubal and 4 bullpen days. Why not? It's worked so far, hasn't it? Okay. That's about it. Of course, the big event tonight is not even sports related. It's political. I'm not going to discuss that. So, Tigers back in earnest in practice tomorrow, getting prepared for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to come to Ford Field on Sunday. Okay, that's going to do it for me for now. Don't forget, Andy and I will be broadcasting timeout on Saturday morning from 11 to noon at Beck Chevrolet. Hope to see all you folks out there. Okay. All right. That's about it. Remember, please treat each other with respect. Have a good rest of your evening, and so